Right then, welcome to 5. Stephen Howson, Rio Ferdinand. Watch any football this weekend?
Headbutting the steering wheel when I'm driving. I can't believe it. I can. Tomorrow, I might not come on the show. I'm just telling you that now. I might not come on the show.
If he brings cake, can I hit him with it?
I'll be slapping that cake right down his throat so he chokes. But no, listen, I've got to be honest. I have to be honest. Arsenal playing like champions.
They're playing well, aren't they?
Yeah, I can't even like mock them. Or Arsenal are playing like champions. I will say, if I was being picky with United, I thought maybe they should have brought on someone like Garnacho with like 15 minutes to go, 20 minutes to go, just to give Arsenal something to think about. They were so on us, they were all over us because they knew there was nothing threatening them behind late on. Marcus, by that point, was probably a little bit shot in terms of like energy. Weghorst is never going to run away from anybody, and Bruno's playing out on the right, more of a midfielder without legs. Garnacho, I thought, would have been a great signing. With hindsight, it's easy to say all this, but they were the better team, man. They were the team at the end of it. We went 2-2, and they were the team that said, no, we're going to go on. We want to win this. We want to take the whole 3 points.
2-2 wouldn't have been a bad result in the end, but it was a bit early to start shutting up shop, wasn't it?
Yeah, I thought the Fred substitution was obvious for me, but I thought a double substitution maybe then with someone like Garnacho to give us a little bit of a threat, man, would have been a little bit of a punchy one that goes, you know what, we're here to take the 3 points as well. You ain't going to just come on to us and we're going to sit here and just like suffer like we were. We were sitting there, we were suffering. We were like, but at the same time, we have to look at it and we have to say, Man United have come a long way. Arsenal are further along in their development under this manager. They've had him for longer. They're further along. There's a deservedly at the top of the league with a good, healthy cushion. And you have to give Arsenal credit, man. I'm not going to sit here and say we should have done this and we could have done that. Arsenal are absolutely flying at the moment. And even when they go a goal down, they look super confident, comfortable. No panic. That's the most impressive thing for me with this Arsenal team. There's no panic in any situation, any scenario that pops up from now. They ain't panicking. They're cool, they're calm.
There was a few United players that I thought were a little bit underwhelming today. Wan-Bissaka looked nervous, not just with what he did for the goal. He looked nervous in possession. Obviously, he lost possession just before that goal. I thought McTominay was a ghost of a shirt. Anthony was shocking. You know, I don't think you're going to go to the team that's flying at the top of the league and be able to have 3 or 4 players not show up. I think that was a bad sign for us. Like you're just saying there, asking for Garnacho to come on and change the game for us. Isn't that indicative of how far this squad needs to be improved still, even though we've done bits in 6 months under Ten Hag? And the fact that he's changed the expectations. When would we be expecting to go to top of the league and get 3 points like this previously?
Yeah, and I think that's the way us as Man United fans need to look at it. We've come a long way. We would, at anyone top of the league, we would have been sitting there going, okay, we'll take it. We'll hopefully nick a draw. We'll be delighted to go back up the motorway. But listen, I think I can't disagree with the players you mentioned. I think Saka, my young player of the year, I think Saka had him scared. It's the first time I've seen Shaw look like, oh, this guy's got my number. He gave him far too much space a lot of the time, allowed him to run getting into the box before engaging with him because he didn't want to get beat. He thought if I go and try and face him up, he'd just be able to shift it around me. And Shaw's been magnificent for United up to this point. To this game. Yeah, I think it's where Man United are that we're asking. We're looking. One of my first calls is for Garnacho to come on and change the game. But at the same time, that's maybe indicative of the talent he is. Do you know what I mean? As well, it's not just about how far we've come. The kid's demanding it. Every time he puts on a shirt for United, he impacts the game. So why not keep calling for him?
I got some commenters here. There's a guy here that says, coach has got no plans for the game. I've lost that comment. Let me just pull it back up again. Ten Hag cost us the game. Like, I can't agree with that, mate. I'm sorry.
No.
Like, you've got to look at the squad what we're dealing with here. If we'd have had Casemiro, it might have been a bit different, but we didn't. And what we did have is still a lot of substandard players, I think.
Yeah, I'm not putting that on Ten Hag. That I just think that he's you have to just sit there sometimes and be honest. There were games that I played back in the day where you have a little argument at the beginning after the whistle finishes, but then when it all dies down and all said and done, they were the better team. And I think you have to say that about Arsenal today. Arsenal were the better team. They're a better, more well-functioning unit than we are, with and without the ball. You can see there's patterns, absolute patterns when they've got the ball, when they haven't got the ball, the triggers to then go and press. They're fundamentally much more sound than us completely, but that's down to having more time on the training pitch, more time with each other under a manager that's been there for a longer amount of time, and that's just where they are, and that's where we are.
Do you think United look like we're suffering from the sheer number of games we're playing in such a short time with such a small squad? Because it seems to be the same players going in and out.
Yeah, maybe, but I think a lot of teams could say that. Obviously, other than probably Man City. I watched Liverpool yesterday. I watched Chelsea and Liverpool yesterday. They got injuries for different reasons, but they got injuries everywhere, and they look fragmented at times, and they look a little bit off the pace. They're not sharp.
I do what I'm not that. Liverpool have got 6 forward players and they've got like 7 midfielders. And I'm hearing all sorts of excuses for Liverpool that I'm not buying.
No, I'm not saying that they're tired, but for other reasons, they're not at it as well. And it swings and roundabouts in the season. There's going to be a period where you lot might look jaded, but there's going to be a period where it might be injuries, and it just happens at different times for teams. I think there's going to be a time when you've got excuses for things. But at the end of the day, Man United, 4 months ago, if we were sitting here saying we were going to Arsenal, we were top of the league, and we're going to have a punchy 3-2 defeat, but we're still going to be in with playing for 4th or 3rd position, you'd have bit their hand off.
How much do you think United playing against Palace and the travel to Palace midweek impacted on a last-minute winner? Do you feel that as a player sometimes when the opposition's had a week to prepare and you had a midweek tough game?
No, I don't use that as an excuse. Never ever looked at that as an excuse at all. This is part of the Premier League. This is part of it. It's a grueling, hard season, and if you can't deal with back-to-back games, then don't sign up for it. I don't buy into that. Oh, it's an excuse. Yeah, you have your moan up about we're having to play, I don't know, 6 games in 14, or 4 games or 5 games in 14 days, etc. Whatever it is, but that's part and parcel. All the teams that are fighting on all fronts are having to do that. Do you know what I mean? The big teams that want to win big trophies have to play a lot of games. So you sign up to do that and give yourself a chance to win games. I don't want to hear the moaning or use that as an excuse. I'm sorry, because I don't think it's right.
I'm not asking for an excuse. I'm asking, is it a factor when you're playing against a team that's had a week off?
No, because there's other ways you can look at it. Oh, they've had a week off and it's a long time to prepare. They've left their legs on the training field. Brian, what's his name again? He'll kill me for not remembering. Kiddo, Brian Kidd. That was his favourite saying. Don't leave it on the training ground, son. Don't leave it on the training ground. Overtrain. Like there's elements there where sometimes I used to go into games and think I've had a whole week. Feels like I ain't played a game for ages because I'm out of the rhythm of playing once every 3 days. Your body gets used to things. It's tiring, it's grueling, but it's part of it, man. It's what makes the Premier League great.
Do you think we've got the squad to continue to compete on all 4? Obviously, we're in the semi-final of the League Cup. That's going to get done and dusted fairly soon. I put us as favourites to that. I think we can get it over there. But Europa, Barcelona, fairly easy draw in the FA Cup, but that'll get tough pretty soon. And then obviously we're fighting with some pretty big fish for the top 4 in the Premier League. Think we'll get all of those, or how far do you think we'll get with all of those?
I just think we have to prioritise. I think you've got the Carabao Cup. It looks like a one that's really got good potential to win. Go for it. I think the Champions League positions in the Premier League has to be the priority. And you pick your team according to prioritising that. And if that means fielding a weaker team in the Europa and other competitions, I think you've got to do it because the priority is the Champions League, man. Get in there via the top 4 spaces. Show the Premier League, show the country where you're from, that you're up for it, that you're there to stand the course of a season and then hit the ground running next season. I think we miss out on the top 4 this season. I think it will be catastrophic for the players, confidence-wise, and the management.
50 Eye State said we were quite slow with the ball. No midfielder could drive forward from deep and disturb Arsenal's shape. We really need to fix that. Do you think that's just simply put Casemiro in for Scott McTominay and that fixes it?
Yeah, I mean, I was with Steven Gerrard yesterday doing the game, Liverpool-Chelsea, and one of the things that he was talking about Liverpool's midfield, which they've lost recently, is the ability for one of the midfielders to jump and be able to run and join. And listen, we've got Bruno Fernandes who does that as well as anyone around at the minute. But today we just didn't seem to really get that, and we didn't have sustained possession. I think there's a difference you see with a McTominay, with a Casemiro in that position. Not just great off the ball, without the ball defensively, knowing how to shut down angles and shut down players and be in the right position, but it's also when we get the ball. Everyone's been surprised at how comfortable and composed Casemiro is with the ball. And to make that extra pass, to play that pass to an Eriksen and find him rather than just clearing your lines and being happy with that. And that's no disrespect to Scott McTominay, that's just where it's at. It's a different level of player. We're talking about a 5-time Champions League winner. So there lies your differences with a sort of Casemiro. It's not just defensively, it's the calmness to be able to. We were under immense pressure in the latter stages of that game, and sometimes a Casemiro can just play that ball under a bit of pressure that just gets us out of the press, and then you go, oh, okay, Eriksen now gets an extra second on the pass, Bruno gets an extra second on the ball, then they can feed a Rashford, then we're up the pitch, and then now Arsenal were defending. There weren't any point there where we put our foot on the ball and was able to kind of just get past that press and beat the pressure.
Yeah. Joel's in the comments. Can I ban him?
Yeah, definitely.
Where
is it?
Sancho and Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything about Sancho's return? Have you heard anything?
No, I haven't. And I don't know. I'm not sure what's going on there. I'm really intrigued to find out what is going on there because it is worrying. I mean, I just hope, listen, he needed a bit of time to reboot himself and get himself ready. And he needed that bit of time. But it's just worrying that it's it's the business end of the season for Man United. And we need to see some sort of, like today, a Jadon Sancho coming on for us today. Well, imagine you're sitting there thinking, okay, that's an extra pair of legs, somebody who can take the ball, run the clock down a little bit, create a chance or whatever. Didn't manage to get that. So I just hope he comes back now. He's had that little bit of rest, and hopefully we're going to see the Jadon Sancho that we all was wishing to see when he signed.
Reckon Anthony's going to take a bit of an extended break, maybe go to Holland himself after these performances we're seeing?
I don't know, man. The concerning thing for me with someone like Anthony is that he can't beat anyone. He hasn't shown me, and for a Brazilian, that's surprising. He just doesn't beat anybody, and I'm sitting there thinking, like, was that always the way? I mean, I've seen clips of him when he was at Ajax, and he was like somebody that, like, he used to beat people. And I'm just wondering, I saw Partey, who I wouldn't put down as like a roadster, a sprinter, absolutely burst past him. And I'm thinking, wow, he hasn't got much power. He ain't got no power in them legs. So, yeah, I mean, he's a tricky winger. But tricky wingers, you want them to be able to still beat the defender. And at the moment, even Zinchenko, he's a great player, great footballer. But defensively, you get in 1v1 and you're a wide man, you'd have felt yourself, you know what, I could get hold of this guy and I could deal with him.
He's the weak link in that team, defensively.
Yeah, well, however you want to look at it, I just feel that I don't know, I just look at it and think, our winger, you want a winger to be going past fullbacks without any hesitation at all. And with Anthony, as the much quality he's got on the ball and his technique and stuff like that, when I played Nani's, Cristiano Ronaldo's, Giggs, Antonio Valencia, like even Jason Park could get past the fullback, not by just going past him, but he'd play it and run and get the other side of him. But I want to see that from Anthony, and I think, listen, it's his first season, so you're going to have to give him a bit of time, no matter how much the price tag is, but I need to see more glimpses of that.
Yep. Right, what's the plan for tomorrow? I'm going to see if the trains will go on strike or what.
Yeah, there's a train strike in my local train station I've just seen, and I've got a bellyache at the moment, and that could turn into food poisoning, so I might not make it tomorrow.
You've got to look after your health. Health is wealth, Rio. You've got to look after your health first. If
I
your
can't go on with
temperature's
this
even
guy.
normal, just sack it, I reckon.
I know, man. I know. It's killing me. Go here.
Anyway, can I just confirm who got megged for a goal tonight?
Was it Thomas Partey?
Yeah, it was. Anyway, right. Thanks everyone for tuning in.
All right.
See you lot in the next one, and I'll see you tomorrow, Rio. See you in a bit.
I can't wait. I can't wait. Jesus. See you later.
Laters.